Hey guys, Dr. Danny McLane coming back to you with another clinical tidbit. ADIO chiropractic for anybody that doesn't know, in case you didn't see the intro. So a lot of these comments are just coming from what I see in clinic all the time, and I realize that I don't get a chance to explain this to people, or maybe because we're covering so much that doesn't really sink in. So I wanted to just touch on it real quick. What I see oftentimes is people will come in and I'll ask them, because I can tell that they've had some significant damage and there's some kinetic chain issues, meaning their entire body's a little twisted. It's not just one area. So what I bring up to them is a difference between an isolated injury versus a kinetic chain injury. Where it happens most often is like a slip and fall or a whiplash. Somebody's like, oh man, I fell down and I broke my elbow. Well, that would explain why that there's problems going on in the neck, maybe up in the head, in the base of the skull, maybe down in the hip. And when we start looking at the spinal cord, how everything's wired together, power in the body flows from above down, inside out. So you could have a pinch up top and it would affect everything down that side. If somebody comes in like, oh doc, I broke my wrist. I was talking to one lady, she was getting out of the hot tub and she slipped and fell and she broke her wrist and she was wondering why she's having a headache. She's like, yeah, my head hurts, my neck hurts. Because here's what I'm thinking. If you fall hard enough on your wrist to break it here, it's not like you had a giant rock fall down and smash it there, or it got broken with a hammer, which is one of my teachers in school, one of his favorite examples. Like, okay, well, if you take a hammer and you hit somebody here, what happens? Okay, great. But if it's a direct trauma in an isolated area, like if you get your hand slammed in a door, is completely different than if you fall on it, because it's not just your hand that was falling, it's everything that's falling. And it just so happened that that's where the injury took place. I've seen plenty of people where they'll fall and they'll smash their hip into the ground. I'm like, yeah, I had this really big bruise on my hip. I was like, well, let's check you for your lateral whiplash, because what happens after your hip hits, something else hits, or even if it doesn't hit it gets jarred. Like you go through this motion and it stops, and it causes all sorts of problems up top. So one of the biggest things that I screen for is isolated injury versus kinetic chain injury. If you're running along and you step in a hole, that's going to be a completely different thing than if the refrigerator falls over, it tips over and falls on your foot. And that really makes sure that what we're doing is we're staying consistent with very accurate thinking. So I can focus, I can concentrate on exactly what's going on and make sure that we're thorough, that we're not missing anything, because that's what leads to chronic problems, is when you have inaccurate thinking and you localize it, or you over localize it to one place. Oh, it's my shoulder, it's my shoulder. I don't know what's up with this ankle keeps bothering me. Well, yeah, sure, if you look at the shoulder, all the muscles that go to the shoulder come from the side of the neck. Has anybody looked at your neck yet? I hear all the time cases, people have gone through, they go through injections or PT or whatever, and I'm not saying that anything wrong with any of those things, but anytime a diagnostician misses the actual diagnosis, then a person's being mistreated or undertreated, or they're just really not getting what's important. So by looking at the total picture, we'll be able to more quickly and easily figure out what's wrong. And like I say all the time, a problem well defined is a problem half solved. There's no sense in being at the top of the wrong ladder. So that's one of the things I look for. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on that, because I see it all the time. So if you've been getting treated for something that's not resolving, sometimes what you need is a new, fresh perspective, and I'm happy to do that for you. So I hope that helps. Make sure you have accurate thinking. Leave any comments or questions down below. I can't do any medical diagnosis over the internet, but you're always welcome to come in and see me if you're local, or you could talk to a local practitioner where you're at. So thanks so much. I appreciate you guys. And stay tuned.